In this video, if you guys watch everything, you guys can get up to 618 AP plus 30 more AP from the add-ons. Just like here, you guys can see if I click on the presets, it's not adding the extra AP monsters right here, but technically it's 648 AP. And so what are we waiting for? Let's get this started. If you guys press P in BDO, this will come out and it will tell you all about your attack speed, movement speed, and critical hit rate. And so if you guys hover the names, it actually tells you what level individually it has. And so attack speed here, if you're level 5, you can get it up to 20%. Movement speed, 20% as well, and critical hit by 18% if you have level 5. And so make sure when you guys are grinding, make sure this is always 5 out of 5 for all this. And if it's 6 out of 5, it's still gonna be 5 out of 5, guys. And so don't overdo it. And so make sure it's always just gonna be right in 5. No less than 5 or no above than 5. It just has to be 5 out of 5 somehow. The first thing I would definitely make 5 out of 5 would be attack speed. And then if you guys can, critical hit. And then the third one would be movement speed. And so priority is getting attack speed 5 out of 5 first, critical hit 5 out of 5, and then movement speed 5 out of 5. For those who people know how to make this all 5 out of 5, just move on to the next video. I'll put the timer where to go next. And for those people who doesn't know, keep watching the video and I'll show you how. First of all, let's just equip everything what we have for all ONLY Tuvala gears that we just got, guys. So right here, we're just gonna equip everything. And then if we do so, we get 5 out of 5 from attack speed. And make sure you guys also eat the simple Cron meal instead of exquisite. And so in the very beginning, a simple Cron meal is really good for early gamers. And so I highly recommend you guys using this. And then for super late game, we want to use exquisite. But I will explain that later in the video. However, for now, if you guys eat the simple Cron meal, once again, we will get attack casting speed plus 2 right there, movement speed plus 3, critical hit plus 2. And then after that, as you guys can see, if we equip our main gear, it has plus 3 attack speed. And so from 2 out of 5, we can get 5 out of 5 easily, just like that. And so we will always have attack speed 5 out of 5 no matter what, guys. So that is okay. Now we need to actually work on critical hit first and then movement speed next. Critical hit is super easy, guys. All we need to use is crystal effect. In the market, just type Fang, and then these are the crystals that you guys want to buy. So make sure you guys go ahead and buy 2 of those right now. After purchasing them, just make sure you guys have it in your inventory. And then just either right click the crystals or just press comma simply. And then click transfusion. And you guys can easily just come to the transfusion where you guys need to go to put your crystals in. And so if you guys come here, click view crystals. And then after that, you guys just want to right click your crystals and put it in here. And so right now I have 49 out of 50 crystals all in here already. And look at this, guys. I already have Valor in there. And so let's just put it in, for example. So we'll just put it on number 2, for example. And then we're just gonna put Valor in there, guys. And then hopefully that you guys can put another one as well. If you guys do it perfectly and then click apply after that, and then come back out, and then if you guys press P, you guys should have 5 out of 5. The reason I only put 1 there is because in long explanation to short, I have this really nice cool crystal in the middle, which can be really painful for you guys to get. And so don't worry about it. But for me, I can get a critical hit plus 1 right there, guys. And so that's the reason I have, 2 plus 1, which is 3, and then plus 2 from the Cron meal, right? And so that's why I get 5 out of 5 easily, just like that. And so that's why I don't need to get 2 Valor right there. But for you guys in the early game, this is really hard for you guys to get. And so I recommend you guys getting 2 Red Fang once again, and then put it in your crystal. And so if you guys do that, you guys should have 5 out of 5 there, 5 out of 5 here. And then for movement, let's talk about this one more. If you guys did all your quests, and in the very beginning, you guys should have some kind of item like this called Beginner Cerendian Soldier Suit. So downside with this one item is that you guys can equip it, but then you guys won't look pretty anymore. You guys will look like something ugly like this with this cloth. But it does give you 5 out of 5 right there. And so if you guys want to do that right now and don't go for looks, then I highly recommend you guys wearing this and just get that 5 out of 5 easily until you guys can get it up to 280 AP in future. And also, if you guys click the eyeball, you guys can turn it off, right? And so you guys will look something like this with Tuvala gears. But if you guys don't mind with this, go for that as well. After making all these 5 out of 5 guys, let's talk about more in next. What we can do to get more AP and DP. First thing what we need to do here is go to your Chrome or Firefox or Microsoft Edge, anywhere with the website, and then type garmoth.com. And if you guys do so, you guys will see this in the first list. And then you guys need to make sure you guys have to log in with your Discord. And then after that, if you guys hover on the very top, click the gear planner after that and see what happens. And then after that, you guys want to create your own character. For example, this is mine, and then I want to click on this, and then now look at this guys. I have all my gears readied up, and I have all the plans that I made, what I want to do in future, from very beginning of Tuvala gears to late game all the way up to 300 AP. So just like this guys, you guys want to have like a step-by-step idea what you guys want to do. And if you're still not too sure, I definitely made lots of kind of videos like this. I'll definitely put the link one right now for you guys to check it out. But for now, just take a look at this website and have fun with it. But the most important part is right here guys, that we can get most out of damage in BDO. So first of all, let's talk about journals guys. So you guys just want to click here and click journals. In game, just press escape and then click adventure and then go to adventure log bookshelf. And he tells you guys all the adventure logs that you guys can do in BDO. And it's really important to do them because some of them actually gives you AP and DP. So if you guys come back to your garmoth.com with your gear planners, just go to your journals and then make sure you guys do all of these journals. And if you guys do so, right now we have 242 AP and then 306 DP. And if we do all this, in the meantime, we can get it up to 250 AP and then 313 DP. And that's basically 8 AP that you guys can get and 7 DP. After that, let's talk about crystals. In the very beginning, all the crystals should be very cheap because you guys can't really afford the really expensive ones. For example, we can go look at this one, right? Rebellious Spirit. It's really good. Has skill EXP 5%, extra AP against monsters for 5, hidden AP 5, and you get a health points, you know, of 175. However, that's basically 845 mil, which is almost close to 1 bill guys. And so this is not really recommended for early game. I kind of recommend you guys going for my beginner friendly recommendation. And so instead of going for Rebellious, we can only pick 2 spirit stones, which is gonna be any of these. And so I really recommend you guys getting these ones though, which is only 47 mil, and you guys can get it up to 150 health points with hidden AP 5. And so you guys want to get 2 of those here, for example. And then after that, we want to get corrupted magic crystals, and make sure you guys get 2 of those because it has a 2-set effect, right? And then if you guys get the 2-set effect, and you guys can get extra critical hit damage right there. And so far we have the awakening spirit crystals, 2 of those, and then corrupted magical crystals. And then after that, you guys actually want to just buy a lot of these crystals called Ancient Magic Crystals of Crimson Flame Power. And these are 5 AP each. And so these are the crystals that I recommend you guys going for. And don't worry about going for accuracies, because in very early game, you guys don't really need accuracy. On garmoth.com, if you guys look on the left side and then click hit rate calculator, it actually tells you how many accuracy you guys will need. And so right now with this gear, with all the Tuvala gears guys, I have 704 all accuracy right now. And then he actually tells me the hit rate of Akman or Miramok, Hysteria, Starzan, Sana, and so on. And so I recommend you guys, you know, just getting up to around 80 is really good enough honestly for hit rate. And so right now Akman is 78%. If you look at Akman of AP and DP, it's 250 AP and 300 DP. So we exactly have 200 AP with that, with all the journals. And you know, you can get also 313 DP right there. And so you guys can easily just grind in Akman with just 78% of hit rate, which is really good enough. But if you guys are grinding in Hysteria, you guys will have lower hit rate, which is 63%. And so you guys probably need about 750 or 800 accuracy. But until then, I recommend you guys just focusing on all AP. Nice thing with this updated crystal is that you guys can always pull out and pull in whenever you want with your crystals. And so if you guys don't want to use this anymore, you guys can just right click it and make it disappear, and then just put anything that has accuracy. For example, Viper is really good for all accuracy 20. But it has 300 mil price, and so it's really expensive guys. In beginner friendly recommendation, I just recommend you guys trying to go for all power. Next thing that we want to talk about is add-ons right here, guys. It's really important to know about this one. It's because if you guys go back to the BDO, press K, and then if you guys look at the skill add-ons, your skills actually can give you buffs, and all you guys have to do is just click find nearest skill instructor in order to get the skill effects. There are lots of skill effects that you guys can get. For example, there are like extra AP against monsters plus 20, attacking casting speed plus 7%, and so on. And there are all different tiers from 1, 2, and 3, as 1 is the lowest and 3 is the highest. And so they recently added this, which is really nice, guys. And so let's just talk about it for add-ons. And so click create new, for example, and let's say that I'm a ninja succession main. And so in here, I know what kind of skills I need to use, which is, for example, blade spin. And so as you guys can see which one is level 1, which one is level 2, and which one is level 3. And so you guys want to actually usually use on level 3 because it gives you the most AP against monsters. For example, let's click blade spin, and then you guys can see here extra against monsters plus 30. And then after that, you guys want to get attack casting speed plus 10%. And then if you guys do that, that's the tier 3 of that much. And so for example, let's click about tier 2, for example, what they are about. And so for example, let's just click ankle cutter, and now you guys can see the extra AMP against monster is plus 20 for that one, and the attack casting speed is only 7%. So as you guys can see, tier 3 has more higher buffs than tier 2, and so I highly recommend you guys getting all the tier 3s as much as you can, and then work on the tier 2 after that, and then tier 1, and so on. This can be done in many different ways, guys, and so, you know, maybe you guys can find your own meta for yourself. And you just gotta know which one can be also stackable with debuff wise. For example, my beheading the dead and red rain has debuff for me. And so what I'm gonna do is here, guys, is gonna use all DP minus 15 and all evasion minus 4, for example. And if I do that, and whenever I cast this ability, I can debuff the enemy with all DP minus 15 and all evasion minus 4%. So I'm just debuffing them with really good effects on skill add-ons, guys, and then, you know, make them naked so that way I can give more damage onto mobs. And then after that, I want to get onto another debuff, which is red rain right here, guys, and same thing. That's what I like to use. And so in the very beginning, guys, tier 3s, if you guys have a lot of tier 3s, I recommend you guys going for extra AP against monsters plus 30, and then attack casting speed plus 10%. That's the most priority for those ones. And then I can always trade off. This usually has like 10 seconds cooldown, for example, and so I want to use this one, and then E lasts for 7 seconds, right, for example. And then I have to use black moon after that, and then, you know, wait 7 seconds. After that, my blade spin should be ready, and then, you know, cycle them through it. Same thing with here, guys, beheading the dead. I want to use this on one location and red rain in another location if I can take turns using these abilities. After that, you guys want to find something tier 2 with really short cooldown. For example, like malice, right, guys? If I use this, it has only 5 seconds cooldown, right? And so this is really good for skills that I can use for like critical hit damage, right? Or I can even use back attack, down attack, air attack. And this is all depends on you guys. Personally, I like the back or down attack. And then air attacks can be difficult sometimes with your skill abilities. And so yeah, I recommend you guys going for one of these. Or you guys can also use the critical hit rate plus 20% right here. And so right now, I'll probably use the critical hit rate plus 20. That sounds good for me. And then for the other one, I'll probably use the throat cut. And then with that, I'll probably use the critical back attack because it goes behind enemy, right? And then also the down attack for that one in this scenario. So this is what mine would look like, for example, guys. And then if I saved it and then, you know, just put it none, as you guys can see, that I think there might be a bug. I think Armat is trying to still fix it. But for example, here I did put extra AP against monsters plus 30, right? And so it should have added 30 right there, but it's not. And so I think it's a bug still. I think they're working on it, but just keep in mind that, guys, hopefully that they will fix it soon and they'll actually add it on your monster AP. And just also friendly, remember, this is my gear, and so that's why my AP is really high in that scenario. Alright, let's moving on with after add-ons, we want to talk about consumables. There are lots of buffs that you guys can literally use. For example, my AP right now is 358, for example, right, guys? And if I click one of these, for example, I can get it up to 411 AP, guys. And so this is really important to use when you guys are grinding. And so let's talk about the ones that can be very cheap, right? And that you guys can afford and that you guys can use in the very early game. So right here, guys, Villa buff, right? You guys can use this. And if you guys do so, you guys can get all hidden AP plus 10. And that's the most honestly important part. And so that's why you guys want to get this when you guys are grinding. Something that can be pay to win in BDO is actually buying a campsite, guys. This is really nice for PvE grinding, and so I highly recommend you guys getting it because you guys can get the Villa buff and you guys can repair the shop, buy potions, but you guys can't sell the trash loot here. That's the downside, honestly. But besides that, it's still good. You guys can get the buff, and yeah, you guys can also get the drop rate of 50% as well. And so yeah, I highly recommend you guys getting it. And so if you guys open it, and then for example right here, you guys can repair it, and then just repair it just like that whenever I want. Go to shop, buy MPs whenever I need, or HPs. And also I can get it up to 50% item drop rate, but it will cost you 50 mil. And you guys can even buy gold bars if necessary. And also fireflies when it gets dark at night. And then after that, there's Villa School right here, guys. And if you click on it, these are all the buffs that you guys can get. So this is basically for life skilling, and this is really good for, you know, skill exps, combat exps, and heat strokes, right, and resistance. And then the most important one here though, guys, is this one, body enchantments, body enhancement, where you can get all AP plus 10, all DP plus 10, max HP 200, and then all resistance 10%, ignore all resistance 5%. And so thing is with these guys, if I buy this one, I can't buy these ones, right? So you can only pick one at a time. And so I highly recommend you guys just getting this one out of all these three. However, just getting this campsite doesn't mean that you guys can always use Villa Scroll. You guys actually will need either the secret of Book of Old Moon, or you guys have to go to Villa Scroll, which is coming to Villa right here, the telephone looking places, and then you have to go there and talk to the NPC and buy a Villa Scroll in order to activate these Villa Scroll buffs. And so I actually made more detailed guides about that, guys. And so if you guys want to and not spend any money for Secret Book of Old Moon, I highly recommend you guys watching that video that I just linked right now. So long talk, that was Villa buff right here, guys. Let's talk about next one, which is Simple Cron Meal. And so you guys can easily just buy that in the market. I highly recommend you guys using that in the early games. And then after that, if you guys are thinking like, oh, I'm in the late game pretty soon, which is about 300 AP, you guys want to start using the exquisite Cron Meal. Until then, just keep using Simple Cron Meal. After that, you guys can use Perfume of Courage, which will give you guys 20 AP, but you guys can either save this, but if you guys feel like you need more damage, then you guys can use this gladly on your PvE grinding. But if not, they are kind of expensive, and so I recommend not maybe using it on the easy locations. But if it's a location that you might need more AP, then yeah, I highly recommend you guys using the perfume there. After that, we're gonna talk about Drought, guys. And so Frenzy Drought of Corruption is actually really good. It's the most best, honestly, the best drought of potion that you guys can use for PvE grinding, because it gives you guys the extra AP against monsters of 35, right? But you do lose damage reduction of minus 15. And so if you guys don't want that happening in your life, you guys can easily just change it to Beast Drop, which will give you guys still extra AP against monsters of 15, which is still good, and then also give you guys the combat and skill exps of bonuses. So I recommend you guys using this on PvE grinding and get it up to, you know, level 61 and 62. And then after that, in late games, you guys will start using like either giants, right? Or you guys can either use like frenzies, but I would probably use frenzy draughts of corruption in late games, such as like red orcs or even hex for giving more damage. And so once again, right now I recommend you guys using just the beast draught. It's super cheap. It's only 4 mil for every 15 minutes, and you guys will get a lot of these during the events and stuff, and so don't worry about that. And so yeah, I just recommend you guys using this. And then let's move on to the next one. Elixir Offensive, you guys can either, you know, use these. These are very difficult to get sometimes, and so based on your research, you guys can definitely use it if you want. Sometimes they're stackable, sometimes they cannot, and so yeah, just take it on your own risk. Personally, I will pre-order these ones, right? Melee AP, if I'm a ninja, I'm a melee, right guys? So I can use these of melee AP and get 3 more AP right there. Or if you're a ranger or archer, you guys can use range right here, for example, magic AP, for example, and accuracy if you need more accuracy. But it does only give you 3 AP, and so it's just your preference. After that, let's just keep scrolling down, guys, for church buff. So for church buff, if you guys press M on the very big location, for example, Heidel, Vilia, Calphion, they have a church right here, guys. You guys can go talk to the NPC right there, and then if you guys do so, they will give you a really amazing buffs. For example, in Heidel, there's a church right here, and then you guys just come inside this church, hello, and then you guys want to talk to this guy right here. And if you guys click chat, there's 120 minutes of buff or 300 minutes. And so 300 minutes is 10 mil, and 120 minutes to 3 mil. And so yeah, it's your preference which one you guys want to get. They give you all accuracy and all AP of 8. And then for DP, it will give you damage reduction 8 and then 150 health points. And then for progression, it will give you guys combat EXP and skill EXP 15%. And so you're also getting like power level, for example, for another guy. This is where you guys want to get elo boosted. And so don't forget to buy these when you guys are getting power leveled. After that, guys, we want to talk about furnitures. Before you guys go out in base, you guys can click this, you know, Disneyland looking symbol, and if you guys click one of the houses, and if it does have residence, for example, I bought one right here, and if you guys go inside, this is a really good location for Serendia grinding, guys. For example, if you guys are grinding Bloody or Red Orcs, this is where I bought mine. And if you guys come inside, this is all the stuff that I have for decorations, for example. But these are the ones that I want to talk about, which is the lion head. In the market, guys, if you guys type lion, for example, you guys can see and scroll down and see these ones called stuffed shadow. So let's just type stuffed shadow lion or shadow lion head. And if you do that, you guys can see all these buffs, right? And so if you guys hover it, this one gives all AP plus 5. This one gives plus 11, plus 15 for 1 hour, plus 11 for 3 hours, or all AP plus 15 for 3 hours. Personally, I would recommend this one, guys. Even though it has 158 mil, if you guys look at the durability, you guys can use it 10 times. And so technically, every 3 hours, you're only spending 158 divided by 10, which is only like 15.8 mil, right, guys? And you guys can get, you know, 15 all AP right there for 3 hours, which is not bad at all, guys, for 15.8, which is 60 mil for 3 hour buff. Because if you think about church buff, it's about 10 mil for some, you know, APs. And so yeah, getting 15 all AP for that much money is not bad at all. So in conclusion, it's really good investment, guys. So I highly recommend you guys getting the lion head if you guys can for your furnitures. In BDO, guys, if you guys press escape and then go to adventures, and then if you guys click monster zone info, it actually tells you guys for every locations, it tells you like what kind of AP and DP you will need. And then there's a filter right here that you guys can click, and then you guys can go by names or by AP. So if you guys did ascending for this one, it starts from the very lowest of AP to the very highest. And then if you do it other way around of descending, it will show us the very highest and strongest mob on the very top, and then so on. And so this is a really good way to figure out if you can literally grind there or not. But with the recent update with crystals, skill add-ons, and everything in Garmoth, things has changed a little bit. If you look at Garmoth.com now, we have 242 AP and 306 DP without any journals and no crystals and no add-ons or no consumables, for example. And now we are looking at for monster AP because we are PvE grinding, for example, and looking at this one. So if you guys want to highlight it, just left click it, and then you guys will see that. And then now I have 438 AP so far. After remembering your monster AP right here, guys, which is 438, we want to hover your mouse right here, and then let's click on this monster AP cap, for example. If we do so, then it will look something like this. And so what we want to look over here is, guys, is 100% right here. And so for example, let's see that what's the highest AP that we need to give the most efficient AP damage on these monsters. For example, Star's End, you will need 470 AP. But then after that, if you have more than 470, all the rest becomes soft cap of 70%. And so for example, right here, we have 438, and we can get, you know, 40 more AP in order to be efficient in Star's End, for example, to grind there with just Tuvala gears. And then let's say that what if we actually had like 480, for example, and then we grinded in Star's End. And so for 80, if you just subtract 480, subtract 470, we only have 10 left of that AP, and that 10 AP becomes soft cap of 70%, and then 70% of 10 AP would be 7 AP, guys. And so what that means is basically instead of getting 480 AP there, we will only get 477 AP, if that makes sense. And so that's why we always want to look on the right side right here, guys, which is max of AP cap in that each region of grinding location. So when we're grinding, for example, in Red Orcs, we want to make sure that we have 856 AP, but that's going to be a long run for you guys since you guys are starters. And so just focus on these numbers anyways on the right side and see if you guys can give the most damage in that area. And just friendly reminder, in Serendia and Calphion, for example, there's some soft cap of only 5% there, guys. And so what that means is, you know, like when we have 100 AP, for example, so instead of 774, let's say that we have 874, we only get 5 AP right there, guys. And so technically we will get only 779 even though we had 874 AP in Castle Runes. And so that's why this is really important, guys, just keeping it on 774. And then after that, you guys want to play around with something else such as like accuracy, back attack, and critical hit. And that's when people are talking about that Cron mills are really bad and saying that exquisite Cron mills can be really good, and that's when it's in late game. As you guys can see in exquisite, you guys can see additional back attack 5%, critical hit rate or hit damage of 5% as well there. And then if you guys look at the Giant's Draught, and you guys can see all special attack extra damage of 10%. So the percentage gets really nice because, you know, it doesn't go in your AP cap. And so that's why those percentages is really nice to have on the late game, because there's very low on soft cap on Serendia location in Calphion, and that's the best place to grind money in BDO. So once you guys reach here, for example, 856 on orcs, you guys want to focus on, you know, something else such as exquisite and giants, and go from there, guys, and then figure out how these you guys can play around with, so that way you guys can get more damage than usual. And so yeah, that was a long talk, but I hope you guys really understand that now. And let's move on to the next stuff, what we can do, so that way you guys can be more geared to get more AP. Right here, if you guys click artifact, I recommend you guys using the extra AP against monsters, right? And if you guys use that, you guys can get +6. And then after that, the cheapest one I recommend you guys getting is this one, Descendant Lightstone. And then after that, keep scrolling down, and then you guys want to buy the Predation, which has extra AP against monsters. And so this can be very good when you guys are grinding in PvE location. So right here, we want 3 Predation and then 1 the Rainbow Stone. And if you do that, guys, we can get it up to 18 AP right there for monster damage. And so redoing everything, guys, if we have this here and then have the wild activated on the Lightstone with 18 AP, and let's turn on all the journals and see what happens with our monster AP right here. As you guys can see, it's keep going up if you guys do all the journals as well. And then after that, crystals, let's do the beginner friendly recommendation that I just talked about. And then add-ons, it doesn't really do anything right now because it's buggy, but hopefully they fix that soon. So technically we just have 30 AP right there added somehow. And then after that, we're gonna use the Woo's AP recommendation, which is all this stuff that we just learned. So in total, if you do it right, 618 plus 30, guys. And so technically we can get it up to 648 AP. And so with 618 monster AP, guys, we guys can come back here on the AP caps again. So with 618, we can easily grind right there, guys, right? Schultz, Kratuga. Most likely, you guys can grind literally anywhere in the beginning friendly location. If you guys watch one of my YouTube video, I have a guide where you guys can be grinding until you guys are 280 AP. So please check that out if you guys are, you know, kind of confused or stuck where you guys want to grind or where you guys need to be grinding. I have all the guys juicy information for you guys there, and so please check that video out. I'll put the link right now. And so yeah, you guys will never struggle for now until you guys can start grinding in like in Red Orcs, right? And so yeah, definitely check that out video. And yeah, I think this pretty much sums up the video. Just don't forget that those hit rate calculator does exist. Make sure your hit rate are always usually 80%. And so let's say that if you guys want to grind in Miramok or Hysteria, Starzan, right? make sure these ones are always 80% at least to start grinding there. So if you guys are lacking on AP or accuracy, then you guys know that you guys still can't grind there, and so just wait a little bit, and then one day that you guys can start grinding there. That will be it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy that free monster AP that I taught you guys, and hopefully you guys will have easier on PvE grinding. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.